Hi everyone, I'm here today for another episode of Meet the Plant Sumo team. I'm here with Melanie, who is a nutritional therapist and is a personal trainer. And she's joining us to make sure that all of our meals are nutritionally sound and perfect for you. So welcome, it's great to be here with you today. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, and you? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing great. So, a nutritional therapist. I mean, obviously, I know generally what nutritionists do, but like the day-to-day ins and outs of your job, like what specific things do you actually do?
So basically, what I'm doing is I'm helping people to have a better understand about their health.
Mm.
So obviously, I have some clients that are coming with symptoms like kind of like bloatings or gases or acne. There is different type of symptoms. So they are coming and ask me to help them to understand why they got those kind of symptom, where it comes from, what are the root cause of the symptom, obviously,
Yeah.
and then I'm making a plan for them to help them through the food. Always first food first, and then after I'm trying them to support the root cause, to support their health and help them to have a better understanding about their symptom and how to help their body to basically stop having them, or yeah, kind of.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, obviously, like health, wellness, and fitness, it's such an individualized thing, and you must have to take that into account all the time, every time you deal with a new person. So I can imagine that's like so incredibly complex to do as a job. But naturally, being involved with us, Plant Sumo, we do plant-based meals. From a nutritional perspective, what do you think are the things you need to keep in mind, think about when you are pursuing a plant-based diet or eating primarily plant-based food, in your professional opinion?
So for me, I had some clients who wanted to become vegan or
Yeah.
plant-based. So I always tell them, if you remove anything from your usual diet, you need to replace it, of course.
Yeah.
So for me, like if you remove meats, you obviously need to have like protein or something that contains iron, vitamin B12, or zinc that mostly be found in meats.
Mm.
I always give an advice to make sure to eat enough and not being starved from the diets, obviously,
Mm.
and make sure they get all vitamins and minerals they need for the body to work properly.
Yeah.
So, for example, the vitamin B complex, the complex as a group of B.
Oh, I'm sorry, your mic went out for a second. What did you just say there?
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. So I was saying that vitamin B complex are the group of
Mm.
vitamin B. So some of them you can find in the plants or vegetables, but some of them are come from meats. So I always told them that we need vitamin B complex
Mm.
for our brain to work properly. If you even want to move to make this kind of move, you need them. So if you choose to be vegan, it's not a problem. Everyone can be, but just
Yeah.
make sure you get those this vitamin.
Mm. That just shows how important it is when you're making such a big dietary change, right? To have a structured plan and to have education and resources about what you're doing. And I
Yeah.
mean, when you also talk to people about nutrition and stuff like that, and you get people on these very specific plans, do you talk about things like cooking methods and how like they should prepare food and stuff like that? Like,
Yeah, of course. I always tell them about iron, which is a really interesting mineral and is really
mm,
important in our body because it makes our blood, basically. So I always told them that if you cook, make sure to have some vitamin C because, for example, vitamin C helps the iron to be absorbed better in
mm,
our body. So kind of like I give those kind of tips, yeah, to help them to get a much as possible iron from foods. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, that must be especially helpful because I think so many people, when it actually comes to food in their diet, what they worry about isn't necessarily what am I going to eat, what am I going to enjoy, but it's the whole process of understanding how to cook food and making
Yeah.
it convenient for them. And I think that's part of what we do at Plant Sumo. That's part of what makes it, such a good service, is that it's so convenient for working people who have to balance so many other responsibilities and want to come home and live a plant-based diet in a way that works for them and their schedule. But moving on, obviously also you are a personal trainer, which I think is fantastic that you manage that
Can
on
I add
top of everything.
something? Can I add something?
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say the thing I really love with Plant Sumo is
Mm,
that they're using organic food, which is really important
yes.
and is all fresh. It's not come from any food process. And I think is really interesting when you want to become vegan that you
Mm,
need also to make sure to eat a proper food, because now the industry is really huge and there is a lot of vegan food that we think they are healthy, but actually they are full of fat or sugar or stuff like
mm.
that, which is not good, which I really love with Plant Sumo. They are all only used like proper food and fresh one. I really love that.
Yeah,
So this
exactly. That's so
is
true. Yeah,
yes.
what you were saying about a lot of the options that are in supermarkets, like meat alternatives and stuff like that, that will be highly processed. And you
Yes.
have a lot of, the fast food industry is capitalized so much on the fact there are so many more vegans around with all these vegan burgers and stuff like that. But exactly what you said, and I'm really, really glad that you drew attention to that. What we're offering is such an organic, healthy, fresh way of enjoying plant-based food, really as it should be enjoyed in a way that really is the best for your body. So
And they're
yeah,
all
thank you.
also from UK, so I think it's also a great point to mention because it's really
Mm.
important to know that the food are here. They now come from Brazil and America and everything, and I think it's really interesting to know that and to mention it because it's really good points. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you literally know that the stuff that you're getting has not traveled these long distances where it's been in the freezer for absolutely ages, and you're getting something which, is not fresh, it's not come directly off the supply line. And I think as well, just the convenience of it. If you live in London and you order our food, it's not going to take it long to get to you, for
Yeah.
the week when you want to eat it. So
And you
yeah,
know that
fantastic.
name is already short because it comes from UK. They made it in London and then you got delivery. So I think it's really great. Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking now, I mean, you're our nutritionist. You also want to be our spokeswoman because you're pointing out things here I should have mentioned. Like,
no worries, no worries. Part of my job, you know. No worries.
yeah, exactly though. I think that's great that you say, and it's really lovely to hear, especially since you're a nutritionist and obviously your day-to-day job is thinking about what kind of lifestyle, what kind of diet is healthiest for people. And you have all this praise for what we're doing. I think that's a wonderful thing. So thank you very much.
All right. Pleasure.
So what I was saying earlier about your personal training side, because I run the podcast on top of managing content here, and I've spoken to quite a lot of people who are on vegan diets and they do athletics or they train or they compete and stuff like that. What kind of personal training do you do? Is it more about toning and getting into shape, or is it training for specific events?
So it really depends. To be honest, I'm more nutritional therapist than personal trainer, but I wanted to
Mm,
be also personal trainer because I think it's really important to know how exactly to exercise and what
yeah.
exercise does to your body. Because I'm also a weight loss expert, so and I'm helping a lot of people to change their diet, but also changing their lifestyle through the sports. So what kind of I do it really depends on what you are looking for. Of course, if you
Mm,
obviously want to gain weight, I will say don't do running or stuff like that because otherwise you will lose weight. So do
yeah.
mostly heavy lifting, exercising like hits. It's are perfect if you want to gain muscles, but it really depends. So for me, the vegan diet, when you want to gain weight, for example, gain muscles, of course you need to concentrate on proteins. So I will
Yeah.
always give like an extra supplement, powder protein. But I really love one is Nozest, is a perfect one. I found it very interesting because there is all the protein that you need in for your body, and also is easy to digest, because I know a lot of people, they do have quite problems, digestive problem with the whey protein, but Nozest is really good.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, I've spoken to people about protein and getting it like weightlifting before, but giving such a specific example, that's really fantastic. Yeah, as we know, obviously diet and fitness, it's such an individualistic thing. And as members of the team on Plant Sumo, we've all talked about our own dietary choices and where we are with plant-based food and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, as a nutritionist, of course, I'm also curious, only if you'd like to share, if you don't want to, of course not. What is your diet like? What kind of diet do you follow?
So I eat everything. For me, we need everything. So it's plant-based, but I eat also some meats. So I'm quite like, for me, it's about balancing diets mostly. But
Yeah.
having everything, but it's in small portion, of course. And it's about, yeah, having every colors of vegetables, having everything. For me, it's mostly about balanced diet. Having some cakes, it doesn't kill, but moderate. Of course, if you're having every day won't work. Like, yes. So a balanced diet, for me, this is the key.
Yeah, exactly. I think personally that is the best way to approach food, with that kind of just openness of perspective, you know, like not an attitude of like, oh, I'm restricted from having this or having that, you know, because you feel like it's wrong to be eating those things. I think if you make a dietary choice and you're not eating particular things for, you know, reasons which aren't related to like, it's wrong for me to do this because it would be shameful for me to do this. Do you get what I mean? Then that's healthy, that's right, no matter what kind of diet you're following. And what you said there about cake, that's so true. Why do people attach this whole morality to what you eat? You know, it's perfectly normal, it's human, it's natural to want things like cake every once in a while. And that's part of why we offer quite a lot of desserts in the actual meal packages that we do, because just because you live a plant-based diet, you don't have to live on salads and quinoa all the time. You know, you can have pancakes.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly. For me to have a good health, you need to have a good mental health around the food. I think it's really important. I know, and I've seen so many people, they are like, just okay, no, I really want healthy food and that's it. And I'm like, why exactly? What is, why exactly are you restricting to yourself? And then after we start to talk, and of course, obviously, you can see sometimes a eating disorder, hiding eating disorder. So for me, to have an happy health, you need to have and you need to have a good mental health around the food, being happy, eating cakes, crepes, having alcohol once in a while, it won't kill you, we are here only for, we have a chance, only one chance to be
Yeah.
on the planet. So of course, obviously we need to enjoy it, and not restricting ourselves because they read sometime, oh, have a cake is really bad. No, it's okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
don't think about that. No worries. Enjoy your cake, it's fine. If you have one, it's okay.
yeah,
Obviously
like
not having all the package, of course, just one. But
yeah, exactly. I think we've all had moments where like it's been the whole package, but
yeah,
yeah,
get
I
it.
mean,
It's true.
that's so true. I mean, just definitely having an attitude of like, you're not here forever, why be miserable about the things you eat? And it's not sustainable either, being like, I will never eat this again, because naturally you're going to crave that kind of stuff, right? And what you said there about having like a healthy diet, and a huge part of that is your mental health and your well-being, that's so true, because I think so many people don't even begin to understand the link between what you eat and not even just like how you feel, but your mental functioning, your brain, like how your hormones are actually working in your body. And like keeping all of that going and regulated, like a huge part of doing that is not making yourself bloody miserable because you won't
Stress is
escape.
huge, and his first problem is stress. All the time I had that on my every cases I found it is always about stress. So
Mm,
I think our life is already stressful, you know, before the COVID. It depends, but
mm,
transport, traffic jam, being at work at 7 until 7, where you have to rush all the time. You don't have to
mm,
eat. You don't have to time to go to pee sometime, you know. So our life is really stressful. So I think
mm.
we really need to take it slowly and think about it, and then just try to make things easier.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
exactly.
by eating only healthy foods or yes.
Yeah, like just not having a very narrow-minded approach to food. Because I wanna pick on what you said actually about eating disorders and how people can almost use, because veganism, right, and I don't mean this in a negative way. Obviously I run this podcast, I have a positive perspective of plant-based food, but it's inherently a restrictive lifestyle choice because you're not having any animal products, right? And people with eating disorders or symptoms like that, sometimes that can, they can use it as a way to kind of disguise necessarily what they're going through. And we do live stressful lives, and we live in these stressful, like highly intense environments. And this whole like morality culture around food, just coming back to that, really just makes all these sort of symptoms that people deal with, this desire to control food, even worse. So yeah, just think your attitude is great, that openness
Yes.
to food, and
Be
it's something we
open
want.
always. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, on that note, thank you so much for coming on to talk to me. I've really enjoyed this, and it's incredible getting to actually speak to a qualified nutritional therapist for the first time, someone who actually understands like the science, behind all this stuff. And thank you for becoming part of the team.
Thank you for having me. I'm really, really happy to be there today, and thank you again.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching. This is another episode of Meet the Team. This is Melanie, who is now our in-house nutritional therapist. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.